Okay.
Does that work? Does that work for you?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. If not, this is what we have.
Whatever. We're not pretending to be professionals at all. Not at all.
No.
Okay. Yeah. How you been? This is our first official episode.
Oh
yeah.
my God,
hey,
we're in sync.
we're so in yeah. Do you know how to like start this thing? Do you just want to do like, hey guys?
I was just gonna ask them if they're open-minded.
Okay. Like, hey girl. Are you
open-minded?
Are you this is we were so in sync in the beginning and then now what happened? You want to start again? Try it again?
Hey, are you open-minded?
Are you open-minded? Hey Annie, how you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, you seem super I don't know, out of it.
I feel out of it.
Yeah, we were talking earlier how we can't string sentences together.
No.
I've been struggling all week as well of just like
busy bees.
Yeah, you mentioned that you went to Seoul Fashion Week. What was that like?
Oh my God, my social battery died like in the first like 15 minutes because it's so like
we see it all the time on like TikTok and Instagram. Everyone's going to Fashion Week, Seoul Fashion Week.
I've lived here for 5 years. This was my first Fashion Week, and I just never thought to go. So then I got invited to like a fashion show.
Ooh.
So I was like, all right, like let me go.
Oh, like runway stuff. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So I was like, now I have a reason to go. Like even just by the entrance, like I got stopped by a photographer, and he's like, "Can I take your picture?" And I was like, oh, and that's when I realized like I need to take posing classes because like I'm so sorry to that man who took photos of me. He just has like the most awkward poses.
What pose do you hit? What did you hit him with?
My like the leg over, and it's like
you were sitting down.
No, like standing.
Oh yeah, you just gotta make the feet look longer. Yeah.
That. I don't know if it actually looked good, but and then it's like once one person is taking a picture of you, like you just get swarmed and mobbed by like 10 others. So there was a time where like yeah, like literally like 10 photographers, and you're just like trying to post for everyone.
How does that feel? Like
my personal hell.
Oh really?
It's my personal hell because I don't like. I'm like a candid kind of girl. Like I love a good candid photo, but when it comes to like posing, I can't. That's why I have to rely on candid pictures. Like if you look at my Instagram, like
really
none of them are really posed.
I
all
feel
of
like
them are like an accident.
I feel like most people would be the opposite. Like you if you are posing for a photo, you're like, okay, I gotta hit this angle. What's this lighting?
I don't know my angles.
Oh, okay, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I hate candid photos of me. So like when I do like regular photos or, you know, we do like social media content, when I do it, I can control it. It's all control. Okay, I look good at this angle, this lighting. Okay, have like this lighting here, whatever.
Yeah.
But then someone takes a candid photo. I'm like, God, I just want to end myself. While I was even editing this podcast, I have to like look at my face for like hours. For like 5-6 hours, I'm editing this video. I'm like, I just don't ever want to look in my face ever again.
You learn new things about you.
Oh,
when
man.
I first started making content, I didn't even know I had dimples. Like I had dimples when I speak or when I make certain expressions. I lived like 19 years not knowing I had that. And then I was like, oh, nice. Okay.
Okay, so that was a positive thing for you.
I think dimples are cute. So yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. But then you also start noticing like different things. Like I have a very soft jaw. So like my side profile is not my favorite.
What's a soft jaw? What does that mean?
Like it's like you don't have a defined jaw. Like there's no like...
Oh, like sharpness or...
Your neck and your jaw kind of are the same.
The Korean like V-line kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Like front on like V, but then it's like there's no like that. Like...
Okay.
Like that.
Okay.
I don't have that, so it's very much like...
It's just like you see all the little like... Not imperfections, but just things that you...
Yeah. That's why I do understand like a lot of these like social media girlies get a lot of work done because they're like, you're constantly looking at your face and you're constantly noticing.
Yeah.
And then it's like people online... I don't know. I feel like people have gone past the like, oh, you're a public figure. I'm allowed to say whatever I want to you.
Okay.
And then they're actually just being mean.
Yeah.
Like, the number one thing that I get on my comments is like about my skin tone, and it's like to the point now where I won't record at certain times
of the day.
Yeah, because it's just because I end up looking whiter. So actually no, you know what?
Wait.
I've had comments of people being like, where did your melanin go? Are you bleaching your skin?
I've seen those comments. Yes, right. Yes.
Or I've had comments. It depends where the people are from, because I've also gotten comments where it's just like, you've gotten darker, you need to stay out the sun. And it's like, leave me alone. Like, why are you so concerned with the pigment of my skin? First of all, it's summer.
Right.
Second of all, like, again, like, lighting very much matters. And there was one particular video that I filmed at like sundown, and it was like
golden hour. Yeah.
But like, no, just before golden hour, I think I looked so insanely pale. And there's people literally being like, what? Like, I was talking about like racism and all that fun stuff, and there's people being like, wait, are you saying you're not 100% white? And I was like, in what world, even just my features, in what world? Like, I understand I have certain like European features because I am 25% European.
Right.
But it's like, in what world, even if my skin was extremely pale,
right,
why would you think that I'm a white person? Like, I don't think people forget what people of color look like because of, I attribute it to like race fishing a lot.
Right.
Because you've kind of skewed that perception ever since, like, even just like Asian fishing and black fishing as well. I think that we're seeing the results of that with people not being able to distinguish between people of color and white people anymore.
Well, on the topic of like skin tone, first of all, then what sort of like lighting thing would be like the ideal?
I think either now, like between like 10 and 1 or 2. Or well, actually it depends on like what kind of video I'm filming. Like,
but it is like a conscious decision that you're looking at of like, okay, I'm gonna look too pale in this, or I'm gonna look too dark in this. Like, how do you navigate that?
Sometimes, I mean, most of the times it's just like, if I want to film a video, I won't be like, oh, I can't film right now. But it's more a case of me looking back at it and I'm like, ooh, like I'm gonna get those comments. But like,
do you think that this is something that like all Black creators go through, of like having comments directed at them of like, oh, you're not, oh, why are you so, are you skin bleaching, or are you?
I think personally I haven't seen it, but I think it's also to do with just the fact that I live in Korea, and then, you know, everyone knows that in Korea the beauty standard is
it's whitening your skin. Yeah,
exactly. So I guess, and you do see like a lot of foreign girls who fall for like this the pressure of trying to fit in. And I have seen like girls who are actually, there's this one particular influencer that when I met her in real life, I was so surprised how dark she was, because online she looked either my color or like brighter, whiter, like lighter. She looked a lot lighter online, and then I met her in real life, and obviously there's nothing wrong with being darker, but I was so surprised. Right. And I was like, oh my God, like she's just like Is that like a conscious decision, you think, where she like 100%.
Okay.
100%. Even just like
to like appease the audience, or just to make herself look better, in quotes. Don't come after me. I think
to make herself in her head look better to herself.
Okay.
I think,
so I'm gonna hit you with a hard question. As a Black woman in Korea who, you know, does occasional collaborations with like beauty products and things like that, how do you feel about like the entirety of skincare being like making your skin look whiter and making your skin look brighter, and like essentially stop being tan? Oh, wear sunscreen, wear sun cream, you know, whitening lotions make it like a little bit lighter. Like, how does that affect you mentally? Is it like
mentally? I mean, if I was like a tanned Korean, I think it would definitely affect me way more, because they're basically saying you shouldn't be the color that you are.
Right.
But
like this is something we need to fix
about you.
Right.
But when it comes to especially skincare, I think there's a misconception about whitening products. It's not bleaching.
Okay.
It's so all of the whitening products that are available, especially in Korea, it's meant to brighten or whiten things that aren't supposed to be there, like hyperpigmentation.
Okay.
So
so it's like alleviating dark spots on your skin.
Unless you actually no, I'll get to that in a second. But
Okay.
when it comes to skincare, bleaching creams are illegal.
Okay.
Like the ones that actually make you lighter than you naturally are supposed to be.
It's like not FDA approved or okay.
Then there's the creams that stop melanin production, which stops you from actually getting darker than your natural skin tone.
Okay. And
then there's the creams that help brighten your skin from acne scarring, from hyperpigmentation.
Okay.
But as far as I know, there's no FDA approved products that would make you whiter than what you actually are.
Okay.
However, there's so you'll see for the clinics, the skin clinics,
right,
there are injections, like brightening injections. Like, again, those are glutathione. Okay. So glutathione it's good for you.
Okay.
So there's different ways you can use glutathione. You can get it in creams. Again, I've had glutathione serums that's meant for hyperpigmentation. Okay. So glutathione, again, don't quote me, I'm not a scientist, but glutathione inhibits melanin production as well, which you can use to stop your acne scars from getting darker.
Oh, okay.
Or there's also exfoliating products, like a chemical peel. You'll look brighter because if you have a lot of buildup on your skin, if you take a layer off, you're going to be whiter.
Right. And effects from the sun and UV rays, things like that. Okay.
So, but as far as I am aware, obviously skin bleaching is extremely bad for you. They don't recommend it. You are more likely to actually develop skin cancer because you're literally rid of
melatonin is supposed to be good for you because it helps. Melanin. What is melatonin? Oh, no.
It makes you sleep.
Right. I'm sorry. But that's supposed to be good for you because it
Exactly. So whenever, I have meetings with skincare brands, they actually always go out their way to be brightening or whitening, for acne scarring. Yeah. It's never to make your skin whiter. Okay. And I'm sure, obviously with my audience, especially who's Western, I don't think anyone, they want to be tan. Yeah. So obviously you seem very well versed in beauty products and their effects on you, but in terms of the beauty standards here being about, it's all about making your skin as bright or as white or as silky as possible. Does that affect your self-confidence of I'm never going to be this white or this bright? So does that affect you at all? Thank God. Okay. No. I said, I see a lot of people that it does get to. I think, yeah.
Okay. It just doesn't get to you.
No. I mean, I just tend to stay out of the sun because causes wrinkles. Yeah. I don't know. I've never been a girl that likes to tan anyway. I just find it very boring, just sitting out in the sun baking. Right. But growing up, my mom was always super stay out the sun, cancer and wrinkles and all that.
Yeah, so, specifically skin cancer. Yeah. I have some white friends and they refuse to go into the sun. And I'm why? What's the issue? They're skin cancer. And that's not something that Asians really think about because. Oh. Or I don't think that's something. It's not
at the forefront of their mind when they stay out.
But it's mostly because you'll get darker, right? And that's unattractive or whatever. But it's no, in the forefront of white people's mind, it's no, it's skin cancer. So many people have skin cancer just because they don't have melanin in their skin. Yeah. So
I mean, even if you have melanin, you should be protecting your skin. But yeah, I don't really care too much about my tan and stuff like that. Honestly, I don't go outside enough to get a tan. In Korea, I couldn't even tell you where I would be able to go out and sunbathe, to be honest. Or even just in Seoul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember going to an island. I think it was like Saipan or Guam or something like that for just a day, and I got so tan. Just like you lift that up and it's just like a clear difference, and I never tan that much. So I don't know what it is. Like maybe it's like the pollution is like blocking off the UV rays or something. But yeah, like I don't even know if you can tan out here in Korea at all.
I went to the doctor and we had like a bunch of tests, and it came back that I had a vitamin D deficiency.
Yep.
So now every 3 months I actually get like vitamin D injections.
Really?
Yeah, because if you have a deficiency, like it can mess with your like the bone density, and you can it's not good.
Okay.
So every month I get a shot to make sure.
You don't take like just supplements? That's not enough?
Can't be bothered.
Like
every day.
I don't like needles, dude.
No, it's fine. Like once every 3 months and you're good.
Yeah. I would rather just take supplements.
Every
but
day?
like I never drank milk as a kid. And I'm like 5'4". So yeah. And my brother would just like drank milk all the time, and he's like super tall.
Oh.
So
do you think that's what did it?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. Anyways, but
I drank a lot of milk.
Oh, okay.
I'm 5'9".
There you go. There you go. Science. There you go. Yeah. I remember as a kid looking at my older brother. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be tall too. And I remember going to sleep every night being like, oh, this is the night I hit my growth spurt. It never came. I never even got one growth spurt. So I was like this ever since I was like 14 years old, I think. So the tragic story. I've never had a growth spurt. I don't even know like what it's supposed to like feel like. It's literally like you grow 6 inches in a night or something like that.
No.
Okay, like no, literally, I don't know. I don't know.
No. I mean, as someone who.
How many growth spurts have you had? This is like unfamiliar territory for me. Let me grab this wire right here.
I think the first growth spurt I had was when I was 8 years old.
Oh, really?
I also was kind of early.
I know girls are supposed to grow faster.
Right.
Right.
But I was like taller than all the girls as well. At 8 years old, I also developed breasts.
Oh.
Yeah.
At 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It came with the growth spurt, I guess. And I was growing so quickly. Like it hurts. It hurts a lot. It's like growing pains.
I've never had growing pains in my life.
So like I had issues where like I was walking around with like ankle swingers. Like
ankle swingers?
Like you know when your trousers like are at your ankles, like they're too short for you.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Well,
it's not a concept familiar with me.
Ankle swing is like it's like this all the time.
Okay.
Sorry, I just showed you my ankle
for free.
So all my clothes were always kind of like too short because I was growing out of them so quickly. And I was just like, I'm not buying you clothes every month.
Right.
And it got to a point where we went to the doctor because she was just like, is she okay? Like, I don't want her to be 6'5". Like, so we did a bunch of tests and he like measured my bones and whatever. And he predicted my height correctly. He was like, she's gonna get her period for the first time ever, and then she'll have her final growth spurt, and then that's it. And 13, I stopped growing.
You stopped growing at 13?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I
didn't know. Oh, that's so strange. Okay.
Well, that's when I got my time of the month. Maybe TMI, but yeah, I had my final growth spurt, and I've been 5'9" since I was 13 years old, which you can imagine was just like very awkward.
Was it? Okay.
I mean, everyone's like 5'5", 5'6", and then finally, once I was like 15, 16, that's when all like the boys caught up height-wise, and finally I wasn't the tall, awkward. Well, I was still the tall, awkward girl, but now like we were kind of eye level type of thing.
So like for me, I've always been shorter, so I'm always been accustomed to looking eye level at someone or someone above me, right? There's hardly ever people that are shorter than me that are like not children. And so so for me, when I all of my ex-girlfriends were either my height or a little bit taller than me. And to me that was normal because all my life that's all I've been looking at. It's eye level or above. And it never really clicked with me that there was a height difference until like we were shopping together one day and I looked at ourselves in the mirror and there was like a pretty big difference. I'm like, is this how people see us all the time? And I'm like kind of like shocked as well because like even in my mind, I think of couples and always the guy is like taller than the girl in like more traditional couples. And I guess in my mind, it didn't register with me that it was actually opposite. Height blindness. So
I have the same, but like more so when it's like, I just assume everyone's the same height as me. Like even if they're taller than me, I just we're the same height.
Yeah, so like even like meeting you, I look at you and I don't see anything, right? Like I don't see you as a taller person. It's just you're just Annie. But then I'll look at like the footage or I'll see us like standing next side by side and I'm like, oh damn, there is like a really big height difference. Yeah. So there you go. But yeah, must have been nice. I think I'm totally fine with the height that I am right now.
That's good.
That's very good.
Sorry.
That's the funniest thing someone you ever could have said to that. Oh, that's good.
I don't know what to say in that situation.
Okay, but I'm happy for you. That's so nice. So I've been fine with my height until this moment.
Sorry.
And I think the one like regret that I would have of like not being not being tall would be like I can't dunk a basketball, which is like because obviously there are like height studies where they're like, oh, if you look at all the CEOs in the world, they're like mostly over 6 foot or something like that. So like there is like a psychological thing of taller people are more like not masculine, but they show more like leadership traits or something like that. But like I don't care about that stuff. I want to dunk. I want to be able to dunk a basketball because that's so cool. But yeah, that'll never happen.
Would you ever consider like
oh man, no, because those dudes can't walk anymore. They're like basically
they can. You just have to learn how to walk again.
I've seen those TikTok videos. I don't know if that's targeted to me, but like I've seen those videos where like they're literally in crutches, like walking like that.
They've broken your bones.
Right.
You break both your legs.
Right.
And then you get like 4 inches or something.
And it's not just your leg, it's your femur. Breaking your femur is like the worst bone that you could ever break.
Well, I watched one guy and he did the procedure 2 or 3 times because you can only add 4 inches or 3 inches at a time.
Okay.
And he wanted to be like 6 feet or something. So he had to do it 2 or 3 times. And like he had to learn. So he can walk now. Right. But the only thing is like your proportions are off.
Right.
Because like your lower,
shin,
your shins are really short and then you just have really long thighs or something like that.
Yeah.
And like look it up. It looks very strange.
It looks strange, yeah.
So he just when he's standing still, he's tall, but when he's walking, it's just like you look like it
doesn't look particularly natural, right? Like people can look at you and they're like, why are your knees so low? Or something like that. But it's mostly stuff like you're stretching your nerves and you're stretching your muscles. So that doesn't sound like it's supposed to be healthy, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously, like you said, like ratio wise, your wingspan, I believe this is called, is supposed to be equivalent to your height, is what I heard. So like that's gonna be super off. But I mean,
don't do it.
I don't think it's worth it. Like, okay, you're 6 foot. Now what? Like now you have like crippled walk and you can't run. Running is apparently kind of dangerous as well because
that'd be really terrifying to even look
so
at.
how it works is it's kind of weird how much I know about this, but when you break your bones, they initially made this for the I think they're called little people. I think that's the politically correct word.
I think that's the non.
Oh well, either way, the people with
dwarfism,
people with dwarfism is what they'll do is because if they don't do these procedures, they have a very high chance of developing like really serious scoliosis. And so they go through these procedures, and what they do is they break your leg, and they basically like turn these knobs to stretch your legs a little bit more. And so what that does is it creates like, man, I'm not a scientist. I don't know why I'm talking about this, but like calcium stuff will grow between that to bridge them together. So it's not actual bone. It's like bone adjacent.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not like super solid as a bone,
Yeah.
you know? And so you got to be careful. It's like, okay, you can't run anymore. You can't exercise anymore without having that on your mind of, am I going to break my freaking legs again? I would never do that. Yeah. I think just, hey, love yourself. That's a cool concept.
I feel like my ideal height would be like 5'7".
5'7".
Yeah, because it's still kind of tall, but it's like I like my height.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
I didn't always, but it's like if I want to wear heels, then I'd be 5'9".
Okay. Or
5'10".
What is it about being 5'10" right now that like 5'9"?
Well, no, I'm like I'm teetering on 5'10", 5'9".
Okay.
I mean, it's nothing now. Like, it's fine, but I'm always like the tallest person.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm always just, and then for some reason, all my friends are like tiny and petite, like little girls. So it's always like, oh, these cute little girls, and then me.
Oh.
But like I said, now as an adult, it's fine. But like as a teenager, you just want to, blend
fit in.
Yeah. You don't want to stand out too much. And especially boys that age are really mean. So like they would have like, there was this one guy that I really liked back at school, and he called me Chewbacca.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and or like
that stuff always sticks with you. It's the playground insults.
Exactly. So now again, like I'm fine. I've healed, and it's whatever. But I think thinking about it now, like, if I could choose my height, 5'9", 5'7", but I can always make myself 5'9" with heels.
Right.
I have the choice. I don't have the choice to make myself shorter and smaller.
Right.
But yeah, especially in Korea, like I'm always the tallest person in the room, and it's just really hard to find like clothes that fit.
That's true.
Like I have the worst body to dress in Korea because I'm tall, and then I'm a little bit more, I don't even know, like, voluptuous. I don't know what to have.
Oh, okay. You have like curves.
I have bigger boobs, shall I say, than the average Korean girl. So it's like, I can't find jeans that fit me because I'm too long, and then tops won't frigging button closed because I'm not like skinny.
Yeah. That's a common complaint that I hear about, or I've seen like tips from like, oh, before you move to Korea, like buy bras and buy because you're not going to find your sizes here. I had a girlfriend who had like a bigger chest, and when she came here, she would walk into like every bra store or every store, and they would just be like, no, you can't. Like, we don't have anything that will fit you. Yeah. And she was like proud of it, but also she was also like, oh, okay, well, this sucks. Yeah. Could I get you to have the mic a little bit closer?
Yes.
Yeah.
But then again, like even in the West, like back home, again, I think like a lot of these experiences have already being different in like my home country. Yeah. kind of prepared me, because now I don't even notice that I'm like different kind of thing. Yeah. I always kind of have to be reminded. So I think coming to Korea is very difficult for people who've always been like blending in, part of the crowd, versus if you are kind of more of a misfit, like Korea is a lot easier to navigate.
Yeah.
But like back in my home country, I'm taller than, I'm not just tall in Korea, I'm tall like in the West as well.
Okay.
So I've always had to buy clothes in like the special section, like the tall section for this, and then the curvy-ish section for my tops. So it's not an issue now where I'm just like, oh my God, like whatever, you know?
I've never had that issue. Like all my clothes have always been very baggy. Yeah, I mean, if they're not, I know some people in Korea who are like shorter than me, or women that are shorter than me, and they'll buy their clothes at like the kids section. Like literally they have to buy shoes from the kids section. They have to, like they'll never find clothes that fit them.
To be fair, I buy my shoes from the kids section.
You buy your shoes from the kids section?
Yeah, it's cheaper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because even though I'm tall, I have dainty little legs or dainty little feet.
Little feet.
That fit into like my, what is it, Nike, my Air Force Ones are children's.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
I have skinny little feet. So I just get the largest kid size.
Right.
And it's like, is that half price? It's a lot cheaper. If you're UK size 6, there's a hack.
You've bought them here?
I'm sure you can. But when last time I was in America, I was just like, I need new ones, whiter ones, and I bought them in the kids section.
I mean, yeah, that's always we were talking about buying clothes in Korea.
Yeah.
And like it's such a great place to, buy clothes here because they're all cute and whatever, but like they're never in your size.
One size.
It's always the one size.
Hope and pray it's like baggy. Yeah. Hope and pray it's,
Yeah. If you don't fit like the Asian what's it called? Aesthetic or whatever, the
Asian sizes is crazy because I usually buy my jeans from like a specific website that's meant for tall women. And the founder is like tall herself and whatever. I bought jeans from there and it fit lengthwise, but I was like, whose hips is this made for? Because it's not for me. Like, it was a medium size. And I was just like, oh my God, like, do you need hips of a... Because obviously, like, Asian fit is like more narrow on the hips. Or like in the past, like I've bought jeans from that website as well, and they're my favorite jeans. They're long, but they're not very flattering here.
On the hips.
Yeah, it like gives you like a flat ass. And I know like in Korea, like behind, like having a nice plump whatever behind isn't like super focused on.
I think they focus more on like waist and hips, maybe not so much
hips
butt.
And waist, but like when I turn around, it's literally just flat. I already don't have a lot to work with, but those jeans drown me.
Okay, calling yourself out. Okay, self-inflicted damage. Okay.
Yeah, they drown me. So you have to choose between like, does it fit around the waist? It's not flattering.
Yeah. And
so whenever I'm back home, it's best to buy everything there.
Yeah.
Because even if you like lose a bunch of weight and you can fit into the clothes, I still don't think, like, especially if you have more of a Western body type, it's not gonna...
I mean, even like on the topic of shopping for clothes, it's all women's clothes. There's not a lot of like men's sections anywhere. People always talk about like, oh, the Gangnam Underground shopping center. It's like, it's all women's clothes. So when I buy clothes for myself, it's always online. Yeah. And that's like always a hit or miss because it's always one size, or they'll say it's a medium, but like on me, that's a large. And yeah, so that's like really weird. That's really hard to navigate. Have you ever gone like thrifting? Thrifting. There we
I actually got a TikTok about that yesterday.
Yeah. I did too.
Is it Dongmyeon?
Yeah. Okay. I guess we saw the same one. We're on the same FYP.
I guess it's becoming more popular. So I think so.
Yeah. That seems like a cool alternative to like all the super expensive like branded clothes and things like. Even if it's like fake, it's like, this was $5, $10. Like, I'm still gonna wear this. Yeah.
I've never had like the urge to thrift just because I'm so lazy. Like, I don't like looking for the I just want it to be like, I don't even shop in person. I just buy everything online.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, if I want something like specific, all I have to do is type in crop top yellow and it's there. Type of thing.
In like Naver, like where are you looking at?
Shein.
Okay.
I don't, yeah.
I shop at Temu, like no, okay.
Yeah, it's not a flex, but you know, all I'll say is I'm not someone who throws out all their clothes after they, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I'll get compliments about a shirt and people will be like, oh my God, where did you get it? And I was like, oh, I got it like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's how I justify shopping at fast fashion. I do actually continuously wear the clothes.
Right.
But like these jeans were from Shein.
Okay.
Yeah, and they fit. They're from the tall section.
Okay. But thrifting sounds like a really fun thing to do. Yeah. I don't like to spend money on clothes because I wear what I think is comfortable.
Yeah.
But as I kind of like look at becoming more of an influencer and making good content, I do have to care about aesthetics to some degree. But it's like I don't have the money to shell out for, all these really big brands or whatever. Yeah. So thrifting could be a nice little option.
A lot of influencers actually just borrow the clothes. There's a lot of, especially here, there's a lot of companies that you can rent like Gucci and like all these like big brands.
Oh yeah.
Wear it for a vlog and then return it. That's what a lot of people actually do.
That's what a lot of K-pop idols do as well. They never own any of the things that they wear. Like obviously, for like a shoot or whatever, obviously it's given to them by the thing. Yeah. But when you see them at when they do vlogs or when they are on TV and they're wearing whatever they're wearing, they're all sponsored basically. Yeah.
When I found that out, like for influencers though, like for a vlog, like you go into a cafe. And you're wearing like a $5,000 top that I'll only ever see you wear once in a video. And there's a lot of people out there who are like, oh, I can't like outfit repeat in my videos. So.
Oh, outfit repeat. Oh, that's like a concept I never really thought about. Do people really care about that stuff? Like,
some people do.
If you're a fashion influencer, I get it. But if you're just like a lifestyle creator, does that? Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
There's a lot of people like, you don't even see how much detail goes into like their videos, like especially in lifestyle. Like I've seen people who would plan out exactly what they'll be eating for it to be the most aesthetic. Not because they actually are eating it.
I get that.
Or like they won't eat the day before because the next day they have to like go to different restaurants or cafes and they need to order as much as they can so that they get the shot. Right. And that like they're hungry enough to eat everything. Right. Or, like they're able to go to like 4 different cafes and have a cake in every single cafe type of thing.
Okay. There's a lot going on behind the scenes of like being an influencer of planning your outfits, planning whatever looks good. I'll do it, and I need.
Or like if you're someone who's like constantly like getting compliments on your outfits, that's engagement. So they'll be like, I need to
more comments.
Yeah, I can't outfit repeat because they've already complimented me on this top. I know some people who would like for every like they'll upload once a week. They'll go shopping for an outfit every week.
That sounds so tiring though. Like I hate shopping for clothes, especially with friends, because they'll be like, how about this? And I'm like, that looks terrible. Like, why did I bring you on this trip? Yeah. But for me, I'm very meticulous of like, this is the thing that I'm going for. And it takes forever to find anything, especially as a guy, because we don't have a lot of options out here. Yeah.
That's why I say like shopping online is the way forward.
I mostly exclusively shop online. Yeah. But because it gets hard with like all the sizes and things like that. I would have thought that you only shop offline because you want to try it on and see if it fits. I can't be bothered. Yeah. So we were talking about Seoul Fashion Week. Did you dress up like? Did you plan your outfit at all?
Like the day before, I was just like, what should I wear? Yeah. I'm not very fashionable. It was something very basic, like a skirt and a top. But yeah, I did notice like a lot of the girls that I was with were kind of like, should we be allowing these random people to take photos of us given the current situation with the deep fakes? Like we're giving them like access to our faces.
So like Korean men was trending on Twitter, I think like 2 weeks ago. Did you see why?
I know it's something about deep fakes.
Right.
Nth Room, Telegram.
Yeah.
But I try to stay away from that now because I think it just makes me angry. There's not much I can do about it. And ever since I watched the Netflix documentary about Nth Room, I was just like, I miss the person I used to be before I knew all of the horrible things going on there.
Okay, well, get ready because I'm about to tell you another story. This went down like 2 weeks ago, or maybe, 2 weeks ago of this recording. And basically, it's like they're at it again. It's always Telegram. Basically, at this point, if your like significant other has Telegram on their phone, that's like a red flag, I would say. Who even uses Telegram?
I do.
For like business or like for what? Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would have imagined it would be like
a lot of businesses will use it.
What's the benefit of using Telegram?
I'm just like, what's wrong with WhatsApp type of thing? Yeah. But like, what are you hiding?
Yeah.
But also it's just like, okay, fine. Like I have it on my phone and stuff.
I didn't know it was that prevalent.
Neither. I just, like everyone that I've worked, a lot of people that I've worked with, like brands have asked like, let's talk on Telegram. I don't know.
Right.
But for me, it's really funny to see because Telegram like gives you a notification.
Notification?
It gives you a notification whenever like someone in your contacts creates an account. And my favorite thing to do is to text them randomly and be like, do you have Telegram? Because sometimes people download Telegram for like nefarious things.
Yeah, okay. And so you caught some people doing...
Oh my God. One of my friends told me how I knew it was like a doctor that we know. And we didn't know, but apparently he's gay.
Okay.
So a lot of people use Telegram for like different reasons that require anonymity, and a lot of people don't know that. It's not as anonymous as you think. Like especially like as your contact, I can see your picture. And my friend was in the situation where he had the number of the doctor. The doctor didn't know, and his profile picture was a picture of his ass.
Nice. Yeah. Wait. Of his ass, but like his face. Oh, okay. So his contact name would be on there with the photo of his ass
and his number. Yeah. So like
that's caught in 4K right there, bro.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah.
Okay. I didn't know Telegram was used for that stuff, but apparently
it's used for a lot of things. Apparently.
Yeah. So this deep fake story is making waves, or was making waves on Twitter because apparently there have been like a bunch of schools, like middle school, high school, like minors uploading deep fake I think they're uploading photos of their classmates to whatever server so that they can make deep fake photos of or deep fake pornography video. I don't know if it's videos or whatever, but they're making content like of their peers, right? And that made waves all over Korea. It was on the news and all that stuff. I think they caught 300 cases of them, and 75% of them were minors, were committed by minors.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think it was like 25% were done by like men in their 20s.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them were like classmates and other stuff. Yeah. And so that's been a huge mess. And it's like, it's another blight on like the reputation of Korean men. Yeah. It's like, dude, come on.
I will say, like, it happening in Korea, I don't know, maybe it's like, it's a attention grabbing headline, especially with Korea being like,
kind of like in the spotlight of the world.
Exactly. So, but like, I remember like there's been cases in the UK where schoolboys had done something very similar. Like, there's been cases where like all over actually, like Australia, like where they were like rating their female classmates of like, like the most disgusting way. Like,
I would do her, like, smash her past.
Worst, like, most rapeable to unrapeable.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So, like, it's not just a Korea thing, it's a generation thing, in my opinion. Especially now with, like, all this, like, red pill stuff.
Okay.
You know what
red pill? Yeah.
All this red pill stuff, teaching young boys to view
Andrew Tate and like
view girls as like just their bodies or like I think, especially I think in Korea is where I notice it the most, but again it might just be a generational thing, but they don't teach certain things that they're starting to teach in the West. Like when I was in school, like they taught us about consent and they taught us about like, not a lot, but enough type of thing, where it's in my head like, okay, like, but I know in Korea like it has very limited like sex education, which comes with consent. And I have noticed, and I have warned my girlfriends, like especially the ones that come to Korea, like are fresh in Korea, what I've noticed is a lot of Korean men seem to believe if they are alone in a room with a girl, that's seen as consent. Like if you...
Like context is super important. So like...
Context, yeah. Yes. Like for example, if I brought a guy, he said like the classic like, oh, I missed the last train.
I can't go home tonight. Or am I gonna?
Even
it's
though
so
I'll
cold out here.
never ever do this, but like if I was like, it's okay, you can sleep on the couch, type of thing. He comes into my house. I say we're not sleeping together.
Yeah.
The guy will still be like, well, I'm in her house. Like, of course we are, type of thing. And I've seen a lot of situations where unsuspecting girls have extended an invite.
Yeah.
And the guy is just like confused, like, what do you mean? Like, you let me into your house?
Yeah.
And
I would say that like that's a pickup line technically of like, hey, I'm trying to like we're trying to fuck. Yeah. So are you gonna let me in your house? So I can see how that's like misconstrued. But like when
you
not
verbally say like
no,
we're not like you can't get home.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's oh man, I gotta be very careful when I say this. But me and one of my exes, she was Korean. Oh man, debating if I should tell the story or not.
Well, you can cut it.
Yeah. So we were basically at my house, right? And this was in our first couple months of dating. And, you know, she came over and then we were having fun. Yeah. And then right before we do anything, she's like saying no. And so I went, okay. So I stopped, cold turkey, I stopped.
Yeah.
And then, you know, she went home. Yeah. And then the next week when she came over, she was like, hey, so like last week, why didn't you do anything? Like, why'd you stop? And I'm like, because you told me no. Yeah. And she was like, well, I wanted you to like try harder. And I'm like, and it was literally like that Louis C.K. bit of like, I'm not going to force myself on you on like the off chance that you're into that. Yeah. And so that, I think, oh man. And this is like never, okay, I got to be so careful when I say this because I don't want people to misconstrue this as, oh, if she says no, then that means you need to try harder. Yeah. Like that's never going to be the message out there that I want to put out there. But it's just so confusing because that's happened more than once. Right. For me.
That's something I actually also warn my girlfriends about. Like, what I've noticed and how I rationalize it is like, because like sex and outside of marriage especially, I think it's still kind of viewed as taboo in Korea. A little bit less so now, but it's still kind of like there's no sexual liberation yet, I would say.
It's still very much behind closed doors, but it's like an open secret that we know everyone is doing. Right. Yeah.
So I think a lot of Korean girls especially feel that they would feel more comfortable if like where sex is happening to them rather than them doing it type of thing.
Right.
And I this is something that a guy that I knew told me, like every single Korean girl, he was a foreigner, but every single Korean girl that he's ever been with, he's kind of, in his word, I've had to kind of force myself on. And
that
it was like,
sucks.
But it was like the same thing where he would, in the beginning he would stop and then the girlfriend would get angry and he's like, what are you doing? Type of thing.
Yeah.
But then that creates like
it's a weird dynamic.
Exactly,
yeah, because
especially for like someone from the West where no means no.
Yeah.
And then you're in a situation, you're telling this guy no.
Right.
And he's like, well, no doesn't mean no because I know from past experiences, like my other girlfriends got angry. So this must be, like, that's something I have noticed. It's just like the stories that I've heard, like even if you say verbally, nothing's going to happen.
Oh,
they will be like,
then
no,
that's obviously
but I'm
no.
in her house, so obviously that's an invite.
Yeah, that's not.
But
that's
like
not
I said, I think like I think comprehensive sex education would definitely alleviate some of the issues that is happening specifically in Korea, like with the whole like spy camera thing with groping. Especially like groping, like Japan has like the same issue, right? And I think
we have like upskirt laws, and so now we have to have like shutter sounds on our phones because of that.
It's like you're just like making it harder for these weirdos, but it still happens. Like oh my god, like I remember the first time a guy tried to take a picture of me, and it's just like your mom should have beat you or something as a child. Like you need to learn to maybe not beat you as a child.
That's a little extreme.
That's how I felt in the moment, like type of thing. But I think like if you just from a very young age teach children like don't touch someone
right
without their permission. Don't violate someone's privacy. Like
I don't think I've ever gotten like an actual sit down conversation with my parents.
Really?
I don't think I've ever had any sort of like education in that way.
Yeah.
Most of what I've learned was just from like osmosis of having a lot of girlfriends and hearing horror stories like this.
Yeah. But I think also like if you've, at least for me, I got like a couple of hours worth of classes back at school, but a lot of like
really classes.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, we would get classes. You didn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
Homeschooled.
There
you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So we would all like sit in a room and be like, no means no.
Wow, really?
Yeah, like even if you're like in the middle of doing it, if one person says they don't want to do it anymore.
Wow, okay. Okay, it goes that far.
Yeah.
It's not just like this is how you put a condom on. It's like actually like goes into consent and the different subtleties of the consent.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Huh. No, I don't think we have any of that in Korea.
Really?
So I think especially nowadays, men are so much more afraid to make that first move when it comes, because we hear stories like this and because there are kind of like what you said, where it's like, even in the moment of it, she says, no, you have to stop.
Yeah.
Like that's also, and like what we talked about earlier with like, she says no, but she wanted you to do it more. Yeah. Like that's super difficult for men to navigate, and especially younger men. Like, would you have like the talk with your kids, or would you leave that up to schools? Did you ever have that talk with your parents?
Not about consent.
Okay.
But also my parents are very old.
Okay. They're like old school.
I mean, if it were up to my mom, like it would be like I would wait till marriage.
Okay.
Type of thing.
Right.
But I will say, growing up, like she would buy me like educational books about like. I was a weird kid. Okay. Like I was very.
She bought you books like to read by yourself, or she would read them.
Yeah. No, I was really interested in the human anatomy, like. If you would have met me as a child, you would have think I would either turn out to be like a surgeon or like a serial killer. Like I really, really was interested in what goes on inside the body.
Okay.
And part of that was also like sex education books.
Okay.
Yeah, so she bought me that. Like I knew.
So like how would you?
I knew how you make a baby.
Right, but
as a child.
But I'm like on the topic of like consent or whatever. Let's say that you had a son. What age would you introduce those concepts to him?
I think I would introduce concept of consent like outside of sex, because then it's like it go like
right.
Don't hey this is your sister's toy. You have to ask her if you can take it, or like if he hits a girl. Like oh my god, like I remember like as a kid, when it was like, oh, a boy's being mean to me. Oh, it must be because he likes you. Like that I hate that concept, because it teaches girls that
it's okay.
Bad behavior means love, and it like it can snowball into you being in an abusive relationship.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so if I ever found out that my son was being mean to a girl or like anything like that, I don't want to raise a man that's like contributing to the issues that a lot of women have right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I personally don't want children.
Yeah.
But if I were to have, especially a son, it would be incorporated very, very early on. Okay. I think it just makes you a normal person.
Right. I think if I had a son, I had this conversation with another Korean American friend of mine, and she said that she would teach her daughter very early on, like 8, 9, 10, like very early. Because like obviously younger girls are more, what's the word? Vulnerable, right? Not just to like kids her age, but also like adult ass men. So I can understand that. But on the topic of like teaching a young son, because of like today's climate, I would just be like, just don't do anything unless it's like explicit information of like,
I feel like that teaches them to like be scared.
But there is a lot to be scared of now, because there are it's so hard, because like when you approach a girl, the onus is on the man to approach a woman and be like, hey, I think you're really cute, I think you're hot. Not in those words, but like in more subtle ways. And you're putting yourself out there to be shot down. Most of the time we are going to be shot down.
I could never do that. I do hats off to the guys who are able to do that. I would never. All I'm going to say is like, for me, like a lot of these guys that do approach like me and my friends, the thing that really just makes me really angry is like they can tell from our body language, like we're not verbal, and that's the thing that like a lot of guys will be like, well, she didn't say no, but it's like there's so many different ways to say no. Like if we're like rolling our eyes, we're not smiling at you, we're like this, or like we're turning away from you and you're still talking at me.
Right.
Don't.
Yeah. So that's basically what I would teach my son. Be like, unless there's like explicit, like, without a shot.
Enthusiastic type of thing. Or like, even just like, when you give a guy, well, girl, but like when you give a guy your number because you're scared. Right. You can tell if I'm fucking terrified of you and I think you're going to attack me. So I give you my number so I can block you. Is it a real number? So, sometimes
so guys, that's a weird mixed signal.
No, because sometimes guys will call you to check if it's your real number.
Oh, like right away.
Yeah, in front of you.
Yeah.
So there've been times where like,
that's great. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So and then they get angry and they're like, you gave me your wrong number. Like it's So now a lot of my friends will be like, yeah, here's my number. Yeah. And then block right after. Yeah. I think also like as girls, like I would very much start very early, like be like way before 8 years old. But a lot of girls are taught to like hide away their feelings. Like if like not to say
really?
when
I
they're
feel like
uncomfortable.
okay. Oh,
We're like taught to not say when we feel uncomfortable. We're taught to not hurt people's feelings with how we feel. Like, for example, like I would never make my daughter go kiss their uncle when they don't want to. Like, you know, because that teaches them that they have to appease someone else, especially like kissing. If you feel uncomfortable, verbalize it. It might hurt their feelings, but it's best to protect yourself if you're uncomfortable. Because otherwise, you are teaching, especially girls, to put their feelings aside for the sake of the feelings of a guy.
Yeah. I mean, just to preface this, I know that like girls have so much more at stake. Like, obviously, I say that, yeah, it's the onus on guys to like make the first move and they're making themselves more vulnerable. But obviously, the worst thing that a guy's going to feel is rejection, whereas women are going to, a lot of bad things can happen. So I understand that. But I think like going back to what I was talking about earlier about teaching my son, I would tell him like, don't do it. Like, there's so much at risk, especially with like what we were talking about earlier with, you know, she says no, even though she meant yes. That's a bad way to say it. Yeah. But yeah, so I would just be like, unless she is like enthusiastic about wanting to hang out, wanting to spend time with you, wanting to come back home and all that stuff, like, don't do it. Yeah. And that sucks.
It's so crazy how you can like just mess up your kids. But
yeah.
Because now, like, as you're saying this, I'm like, but what if that turns into like someone who needs a lot of reassurance?
Yeah. It sucks.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, that would eventually make him too scared to make any move at all. Right. Yeah. And so what does that do? That makes like him
a balance.
And so he becomes more introverted. He becomes scared of women. And that's how like incels are created is because they feel rejected or too scared to approach women. Yeah. And that creates resentment, and then resentment creates violence, and so that sucks.
I remember a couple months ago, like me and my friend were out and this guy came up to us and he was interested in my friend, and I'm always like the type of person who's like, I'll step away so you can do your thing, because I don't know if like you're into him. So I'm like nearby in case she needs backup. But I'm listening and they're talking. I can tell she's not interested, but she can handle herself or whatever. And she's like, he finally asks for her number. And then she says, oh, no, thank you. Like, I'm not really interested. And he was like, oh, no worries at all. Like, I just wanted to come over and say, I think you're really beautiful. Yeah. And I hope you guys both have a nice night. Right. He leaves. In the taxi, we were both just like, that was so nice. Like, oh my God. And then we realized, wait, hold on. That was like the bare minimum. Because it felt nice. Oh my God, he was so respectful. Oh my God, like, he was so nice. And then we were like, no, he just saw us as human beings with like because we're so used to having to fight, especially in Korea. Yeah. We're so used to having to fight these guys off when we say, no, I don't want to give you my number. Oh, what do you mean? We can't be friends? Yeah. Please, like, you have a boyfriend? Right. Is he Korean? Oh, like, we can still be friends type of thing. And again, that all ties in with why I don't choose to be friends with guys. Yeah. And that guy did the bare minimum. The bar is in hell.
Yeah. Yeah. Like when I hear you mentioning like, oh, he didn't stop after the first attempt, like he still tried to get your number. Yeah. Like that's also like part of the game as well. Like, of course, it's obviously very annoying. Yeah. But oh, you're just gonna leave after I just rejected you once? There's a lot of girls that think that way too. Really? Yeah. They're like, oh, you gotta fight for it. Like you're just gonna, So.
Yeah, you just have to be really mean to them now, I think. Yeah. But I feel bad. I feel bad being mean, but it seems like the only thing that's like actually, you know.
So I tell my girlfriends, like, when you reject a guy, just be like, don't be So a lot of girls would be like, I don't want to block him because it's mean and it's going to hurt his feelings. Like, hurt his feelings. It doesn't matter.
See, but that's how we're socialized.
Right.
That's how we're raised. Like, don't hurt his feelings.
Right.
A lot of guys would be like, well, why are you smiling at him? Like, why are you being nice to him? You're giving him mixed signals. And it's like, we don't want to die. Like, we're scared of dying because some guys don't know how to take rejection.
Right. I get that for sure.
Sorry, I get really heated.
No, that's fine. No, I like it. I like it.
Angry.
I like it when we get heated because like these are actually like real conversations that we can have in like a safe environment. So I always tell my girlfriends, you still have to be abundantly clear, like to the point where if you have to be mean, you have to be mean, but like block this dude, stop leading him on. Otherwise he's just going to continue and he's going to see that as consent. Oh, she didn't block me, so she is okay with me messaging her. And I hear this all the time from like my girlfriends who are just like, oh, I don't want to be mean, like, oh, you know, and just like, you gotta stop being so nice. And yeah, it's hard to navigate.
Conclusion, be mean to men.
Conclusion, be abundantly clear to men.
I could never get into the mind space of like, if someone was just like, never talk to me again, leave me alone. That never in my mind would be like, but they haven't blocked me, so I feel like I can still talk to them.
But dudes are so starved for attention. Like, girls get attention from guys all the time. Guys almost never get any attention at all from women. Like okay, you see this quote from like a lot of like the incel community, but like 90% of the men in the world are invisible. And they'll never get like touched, like they'll never be looked at, touched, or seen as attractive in any sort of way. So any sort of attention that you can get from a woman is like, finally, someone noticed me. Like, that's the kind of reaction that these, I won't say losers, but I'll say like these poor guys.
But can I just say like, attention.
Yeah.
I think... The reason why, like, okay, this whole attention, like, guys coming up to you on the street, guys catcalling you, guys asking you for your number.
Yeah.
It's harassment.
Yeah, I would say so.
The reason why women don't do it to men is because we don't see you as subhuman. Like, I think...
No, catcalling and like asking for a number like out of the blue, that's harassment. Yeah.
Right. But I think like a lot of women, especially when they see like a guy that on the street that they are attracted to, will think to themselves like, oh no, like I'll look weird, like I don't want to disturb him. Like, we will like actually think about it, whereas a guy would just be like, I'm ready to conquer type of thing. So I think it's more of the mindset of this whole attention thing. Like, it's more so that women... I'm trying to...
Yeah. It's like really hard to talk about, but no, take your time with it.
Like, guys don't get attention. You won't have a girl come up to you. It isn't like because you're invisible. We see you, but it's more like we respect you enough to like not come up to you because we know what it's like to have someone come up to us and we're bothered by it. That's how I would see it. Why all guys will never experience what a woman goes through in terms of attention.
Right. But you see it as like, oh, we respect you, so we're not going to bother you.
We see you as a person. Like, I would never in a million years like DM a guy reply to every single story and seeing them never reply. If I'm like, okay, well, this is weird, like I look like a psycho, like I'm probably bothering them, like I would never, but like these guys are just like continue. And I think it's just a lot of women just think about their actions and how it can make someone feel. Right. More so than guys.
You're viewing it from the lens of a woman. If you view it through the lens of a male who's never gotten any attention from anybody, it doesn't matter whether or not she responds to it, right? Because he's never gotten a response.
But the thing is, for me, is like women are always thinking about what men are thinking about. I don't understand why men can't put themselves in the shoes of a woman. Like, there's so many like books and like Reddit posts of like women trying to understand men. Like, why do men do this? Like, how would a man approach, like, think of me if I did this? Like, oh my god, I remember when I was like 14, 15, I like the wiki hows of how to flirt with a boy, like all of that. Like, this is me trying to understand like guys, and understand how to talk to them. And I just don't think a lot of guys ever reciprocate trying to understand us, like trying to be like, you know, like, it's dark outside, she's probably not feeling very safe. I probably shouldn't go up to her and ask for her number because she'll fucking be terrified. And that's what just annoys me, because it seems common sense if you understand what it's like to be a woman. But enough men clearly don't think about that.
I didn't know until like fairly recently, I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago, going into an elevator with a woman is scary to them. Like, just the two of us. That's something I never thought about before. But it's like, I want to go home too, though. Like, come on. So I get it. I know that like men can't see the world through the lens of a woman either, because like even stuff like what's his name? Donald Glover was also talking about this, where like he would have his female friend or his girlfriends go home late at night, and she's like, oh, you want to walk me to my car? And he was like, oh, she wants to talk to me a little bit more. But it didn't occur to his mind that it was like, oh, it's because someone is gonna freaking kill her while she's on her way to the car, or worse. So it's like something that people are noticing more now. And I think that there are going to be people who just still haven't awakened to that yet, I guess. I mean, obviously, I'm not trying to like excuse people catcalling you or like aggressively asking for your number or whatever like that, because that's obviously harassment. But when it becomes, when we're talking about
even if it's just like in their mind, it's not harassment, right? Like in their mind, they're just like, oh, I see pretty girl, I ask for number. But they don't consider the context of it's dark outside. I look like a freak going up to her in like a dark alley. But to him, it's like, I'm just asking for her number. I think that I'm like in full agreement with you. Like, you can't do that. And people like that are monsters. But I'm talking about in the context of like, I don't want to be mean to him. I don't want to block him. I'm going to give him my phone number. That is still an interaction. That is, to you, oh, I'm sorry, not to you, to most men, it's more than they've ever gotten ever in their life. And so that's why I'm always clear with my girlfriends, like, if you don't like this dude, you can't give him that little bit of hope. I will say, like, yes, it might be because they're like too nice, but I think some girls do genuinely just like the attention of some guy like simping. I don't think it's like, you know, non-feminist of me to say, like, there are certain girls that
everyone likes attention.
So there's certain people who don't want to hurt guys' feelings. There's certain people that just enjoy, oh my god, he's texting me again. Like, I've been there when I was like younger, and I was starved for attention.
I forgot how we got here. We were talking about... Oh my
god, we went on a tangent.
It was...
1 hour 30, by the way.
Oh shit. That's gonna do it for the show. But no, I think this was a good conversation to have. I think that in the context of Korea, how Korean men behave, why they behave that way, why you shouldn't do certain things.
I think in terms of like consent.
In terms of consent,
like, viewing the way that women are viewed in Korea, I think they're still a little bit further behind.
Not a little bit, they're very behind, I would say.
I want to be kind.
Okay.
They're behind. But like I said, like back when I was in school, we had only just started having those classes and those conversations. So I don't know what it's like now. We had classes. I think Korea would be a better place if they started to incorporate that into the curriculum of like, hey guys, like, no means no. Like, this is the effect of if you do perpetuate this kind of narrative, like girls, if you say no, but yes, but no, like that's confusing for the boys.
Yeah.
And when a girl says no, boys, like respect what she says. Like, I think those conversations need to be had in school.
The only reason that I'm able to like be more empathetic, like what you were mentioning earlier, be more empathetic towards women like that and see it through their viewpoint is because when I was growing up, I was homeschooled, so I was mostly online, and I would hear and read about like perspectives of women, and even when I came to Korea, a lot of my friends were girls, and so I would also hear stories about that. So that education and that like what's the word? Exposure to like these types of stories is what made me allowed to come into your house.
But not a lot of guys will have that same experience.
Yeah.
Like, not a lot of guys will have.
A
Like,
lot
what
of
if
it,
they went to an all boys school?
Yeah.
And then they're
or even just in like a regular school, they would have their own guy cliques, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that I didn't have growing up. So I can see how I would be, I would not have the same experience as them growing up. But the way that you teach these guys, you know, this viewpoint is to like get these ideas out and talk about them on a podcast or in video form.
I like, sorry to prolong this, but I actually, I watched this one guy, he's like a Russian, and he dresses up as a woman really convincingly. And he has like a high voice. And like, and he'll like walk around.
I think I saw this.
Yeah. And then like he would like firsthand, like he was just like, I never used to realize how scary it is to be a woman.
Yeah.
He would dress up in a skirt, like guys would come up to meet him and be like, oh, like, do you want to come back? Like be really weird and scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then obviously like he'll I don't know. And he's like, oh brother, like leave me alone, like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, first of all, I wish I had like that defense mechanism where I could have like the voice of a man suddenly.
Show me how deep you can go.
Leave me alone.
That was like the least threatening. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. But like he like I've seen different videos of like guys dressing up as women, and
I saw
all
that
of them, all of them would be like, oh my god, I had no idea how crazy it was.
Yeah.
And it's like, we need to find a way where like men can like experience like even just a day of being a woman so that they can be like, oh my god, like
those
that's
videos,
insane.
Yeah, those
like,
videos are so much more effective than like, oh hey, just a pep talk from a woman. Yeah, exactly.
Or even like I saw one video of like they got the mothers of guys who
I saw this one. Yeah.
And they got them to like accidentally catcall. No, it was they dressed up the moms to look different.
Okay.
And then the guys would see their own mom and catcall their own
That's
mothers.
crazy. That's like entrapment. What the hell? That's crazy.
So you can finally see like, because none of these guys ever want to be like in a situation where it's a woman that they care about.
That's like,
so you force it and you're like, yeah, this is what you're doing this to someone else's sister. You're doing this to someone else's mother.
Dance
so
the
now
devil.
You did it to your own mother.
Dance of the devil type shit. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some kind of exposure therapy needs to happen, I think.
Okay. Well, maybe if Korea was more open-minded, then we wouldn't have these issues anymore. Yeah. Okay. I think that'll do it for the show. Yeah. I'm gonna die editing this.
Ooh, sorry.
Are we really an hour and 30 minutes in? That felt so much quick. Shorter. Okay.
Yeah. Time flies.
All right, so let's close this out. You want to tell the people your plugs?
Yes, I'm _AnnieNova on TikTok, Instagram, and just Annie Nova on YouTube.
Okay. I know that you like directed me to like look at the camera more. I don't think I've ever looked at that camera at all this whole show. So, it's okay. All right, my bad. Hi, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram with my handle soljiki, SOLJIKI. And look out for more content on this. You're not going to be here next week. Next week.
We should film next week.
Oh, we should film next week. Okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
All right. We'll figure that stuff out. Yeah. But this is our first episode.
Yes, episode
our first
1.
Official episode. So leave a comment and all that stuff. Give us a like and subscribe. If you like hearing this kind of content, please let us know. Yeah. All right. Bye. Oh my god, my butt is like so sore right now.